Well, now it's time to get some stitching done. Okay, I've got the edges all sanded and beveled, the liners all stitched in place, the two sides are glued together just here and here, and now it's time to go ahead and stitch them together. I'm using just a regular old 2-needle saddle stitch that's been proven over the centuries to be the best kind of stitch to hold, well, bits of leather together. And again, you got to make sure that each individual stitch is done exactly the same. Now I pre-punch all my holes just because my hand doesn't work as well as I would like it to. That's an understatement. So I can't really handle an awl and a needle in the same hand and flip them around and do this with any kind of speed. So I just go ahead and punch them all at the beginning, then I go ahead and stitch it together. First, this needle goes in. I give it a little bit of a wiggle. This needle goes on top, and then I pull both needles through with one hand, turn it, then this needle goes underneath my thread. Give that a little tug to make sure I didn't pierce it, and then pull it on through. And do that exact same thing all the way around. So you come up with a pretty nice looking stitch line. And a very strong stitch line. That's the thing, if you do it right, generally something like this will last for generations. Well, I'm going to keep going, and we'll see ya a little bit later. After I came around the corner here, just thought I'd bring this up. Now, when I was stitching, let's see, this away, I was putting the thread underneath because I was starting away from me and stitching toward me. Now that I'm stitching, starting here and stitching away from me, I need to put the second thread on top to help to keep that angle on the threads on the stitches here consistent. It's just one of those little things. Just to make sure that it's good, strong, and well, it looks good. See, the first needle goes in, then of course this needle goes on top, just as before, and then I turn it, but instead of putting the second needle underneath, I bring the thread back and put the second needle over. And again, I give it a tug to make sure I didn't pierce it. Pull it on through. I just give it a little bit of a snug. You don't have to strangle it or kill it. Just give it a little snug and it'll be fine. Well, again, I'm going to keep going, but we'll be back. Another thing I was just thinking of. I know that if I had a sewing machine, even one of those hand-operated ones with a big lever on it, I could get this done a lot faster. But honestly, I don't do a high volume because I don't do this for a living. This isn't my job, basically. I make stuff for people. It gives my hands something to do, and it gives people something nice that they can take pride in, and I take pride in. But honestly, if I did do this as a business, and I did do like a high volume, yeah, I'd get a machine. I would use a lot more power tools on it instead of doing it all by hand and finishing all by hand, just to keep up with the demand. I wouldn't be happy about it, but you gotta do what you gotta do. A 2-needle saddle stitch is a lot stronger than any stitch you can get out of a machine, basically. With a machine, you get a lock stitch. And I honestly don't feel that a lock stitch is anywhere, I feel it's not as strong as a good solid 2-needle saddle stitch. A lock stitch is like what you get on your clothes, and when a thread comes loose, it just pulls out. It's that kind of stitch. With this, if a thread comes loose, it ain't going nowhere. Especially when I'm done with all this, and I get the belt loops punched, and I get the edges all nice and burnished. Basically, the final finish is I'll take and I'll cover everything with a coat of tan coat. That'll protect all the threads, it'll protect all the edges, it'll protect the outside finish. The only place I'm not going to put it is on the liner, because I want that to stay nice and soft. But then again, the liner is pre-finished from the factory, so it doesn't need it. This leather isn't. Anyway, like I keep saying, we'll come back a little bit later. Alright, that's that side stitched up. Now all I gotta do is do the same for that side. Mark and punch the belt loops. Then I'm gonna go ahead and do my edge work on it. After the edge work is done for that particular moment, then I'm gonna wet this thing and form it to fit the gun. Then of course there's more finish work after that. So we'll be back when I get a little further along.